Hello, hello, welcome everyone. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, depending on where in the world you are. And independent of where in the world you are, no, sorry, it's too late for that. Happy New Year, everyone. Hope you're all doing great. And welcome to this beautiful race we're having today with the SimZone and Fresh Sim Racing. I am one of your commentators today. My name is Jesse, and I will be joined today by our broadcaster, our host, our camera guy, thelazycamel.
Hello, how's it going?
Hello, nice to have you here today. Of course, you're doing the broadcast today, and I believe you are part of the SimZone.
Yep, that's correct.
So you are entirely partial today, but I believe that is compensated by another guest today. I'm not sure if we have here right now, but will be joining us in between to offer some information.
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
Welcome, Nath, and nice to have you here. So we've got someone from Fresh Sim Racing to join us as well to make this as impartial as we can possibly be. And yeah, let's hope for some brilliant racing. Currently qualifying is already on the way, as you can see. We've got I believe Bubbles in P1 currently with a 2-minute 2. Currently for pole position only well, I say only 2/10 is a lot of time in for sim racing, of course. So putting that Lexus firmly in front of everyone else, and not a challenge as of right now. We do have well, I say that as Ron comes across the line and puts another Lexus at the top, almost cracking the 2-minute 2 barrier, but a thousandth of a second too slow for that. See another one of the cars coming across the line. See if that is yeah, Matthew taking pole there, and the first one to crack the 2-minute 2 barrier for a 2 minutes 1:8.27. Excellent job. Matthew is let's see in my notes. Matthew, I can't find him in my notes. Oh no, that's me. That's on me. Polish driver. He's driving for Fresh Sim Racing, so they currently have well, the first hit in this fierce battle between the two communities. I've been told it's friendly, but it's only friendly up to the point that we actually go racing, of course. And let's see, Matthew, of course, as I said, with Fresh Sim Racing, and then we have behind that Fresh Kingy, who has moved himself up to P2 as number 19, also part of Fresh Sim Racing. Ron behind. Ron, I believe, is part of the SimZone, so he's leader of that club, and Moan Bubbles right behind, also part of the SimZone, so both are well represented in the top 4, 2 for each. Driver, we've got Samson Fingers is part of Fresh Sim Racing in the Mercedes car. It's 6/10 off currently, so that's a little bit of a bigger gap, but nothing we can't make up in the next 7 minutes. We have U4 IK, I believe that is. He is from the SimZone, Irish driver. Oh, as we see the 117 car, going a bit squiggly. The exit of turn 2 doesn't really regain control of the car well enough to continue that run. Fortunately, loses it. As you see, Ice Dude coming across the line, the number 77 Porsche. Not for an improvement yet, but might just be starting his fast lap. You see Freshway now, the Ferrari. Coming across the line, let's see if that moves him up. That moved him up to P11, just one place. Just working his way up there. DDTKU. And they're currently looking at Ron. Ron, as I said, part of the SimZone. Currently the leader of their club. Only 1.7 tenths off, so should be doable to get back up there. And same for Moan. The Lexus is really challenging. You have Gizmo. I believe Gizmo has moved himself up then. Part of the Fresh Sim Racing team. the Audi, the fastest Audi on track right now. Unfortunately, that run was maybe a bit too ambitious through Sector 1. Unfortunately, loses it. GTM Coupe then, the BMW. Very nice pink livery. Very easy to see. Easy to notice. It's currently set in P8, and let's see, they are part of the Fresh Sim Racing Club. So nice to put it in the top 10 for them.
I expect to see some changes in these lap times over the next couple of minutes. Now the track's going to get much quicker in the last 5 minutes, so maybe first blow to Fresh, but I wouldn't put anything past Ron on 1, and even U4IK straight there to put a good lap time in the next few minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's of course a fact of sim racing, or racing in general, that as the track evolves, as they say, which literally just means that rubber is being laid down and it's being cleaned up on the racing line, the cars will find more grip and the ceiling of the times will be a lot higher. And we'll start to see that with times being improved. The first lap is only a bit of a bank. I believe we have only 15 minutes of qualifying, so that effect is limited a little bit, but sim racing often comes down to tenths if you're lucky, so you really have to put in the best time you can, as Alpha Racing moves is the last one to set a time, puts himself up to P15. Nice spot for him to start with. Not with optimal conditions yet, but we have 3 minutes left, enough time for someone to drive out and go for a quali lap, but only one. We are looking at a couple of drivers near the top. We see Moan, the 46 car. Lex, I'm wondering if the SimZone can improve a little bit. Not bad being on the second row, but ideally you don't want to be in the second row. You want to be on the first row. So it will be good if they can.
As you say that,
Ron's the score.
Just put it on pole.
As I say that, indeed, Ron has put it on pole, just proving me, well, maybe wrong, but proving the SimZone competitive today. 0.2 of a gap, that is quite big. Part of that will be track evolution, but can Matthew and Fresh, can they match that? It's only time that can tell, I think. See, Ice Dude here, number 77 Porsche. That's a quick look. Yeah, that's one of the Belgian drivers. That's I think might be the only Belgian driver. He's part of Fresh Sim Racing, and Matthew now puts it up into pole, retaking that from the SimZone back into the field of Fresh Sim Racing, and that is a big gap of 3.5 tenths. That has to have been an excellent lap in that Lexus. Really putting it all together and giving him quite the advantage if he can keep it. Now,
yeah, looking across the field, it does seem like it's pretty evened out with both SimZone and Fresh drivers, so I think it's going to be a very close event today.
Yeah, that will be very nice to see, of course. A good mix of drivers, and we can see already in the top 4 they are alternating as it stands right now, with a slight advantage to Fresh Sim Racing, but anything can happen at the start. It's interesting to see how the teams will work together, maybe, but also just perform in general. Working together in racing is limited. You are still just trying to drive the track and drive your pace. Position is important, but often not as important as just keeping position, or keeping your pace up. Gotta keep your speed up and not lose a lot of time through mistakes.
Just keeping an eye on that mini map. We've got quite a number of drivers with 50 seconds to go or so to go. Looking like they are going to be on their final lap, so this is all going to be a final shoot in the quite next 2 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything that crosses the finish line now will finish their lap, well, the last lap. And there's only a couple more cars, I think, that can start a new lap. There's someone coming through 130R, I think that's the last driver, unless the driver currently at Spoon can make it, but I highly doubt that. See, after looking at Gizmo, the highest place in Audi, I think has dropped a couple of places, but still time for one more lap and only one more. We do see someone at the outside of Spoon. Unfortunately, that's according to the map anyway. I can't really see him on screen. But we do see Moan resetting to pits, and you can see how far he has dropped as people have been improving their times on an improved track, and people are really taking advantage by being the last on track. So many people currently in Sector 1 trying to take advantage of the best of the conditions. As a U4, the SimZone driver is currently sat in P3 and behind his teammate. Got Sam Thumbfinger right behind that. He's of course part of Fresh Sim Racing and Fresh Kingy. Coming across the line,
P2.
moves it up into P2. Very, very good to see. Very good performance from Fresh there, and not a Fresh Sim Racing driver up there. Then we do see a couple more drivers finishing their lap. Let's see if that results in improvement. We do see Matthew still out, and U4 is still driving. So it's not quite over yet, but right now it does look like Matthew may have this in the bag. I think there's 2 more drivers really setting a time. Matthew has invalidated his lap, so that's not going to be an improvement. Drivers behind it, I believe there will be U4 we're looking at, and Gizmo. We're giving a bit of a toe to his teammate there, Matthew, but let's see if it amounts to anything. Let's see that there's U4 finishing also in P2, so excellent job from U4 to put it up there. A SimZone driver. And Gizmo has also finished and stuck his Audi in P6. 6/10 behind. So that is the end of that then. Matthew on pole position, representing Fresh Sim Racing. The Polish driver set an excellent lap in that Nexus. U4 the best of the SimZone in P2. Then we got Kingy in P3. Ron P4. Sam Thumbfinger in P5. Gizmo in P6, Moan in P7, unfortunately dropped off a lot in the later stages. We got GTM Coupe in P8, DD in P9, and we got SVW in P10. We've got a couple of SimZone drivers here in Hoardo and Kenny. And then we have Normac, if I'm reading that correctly, Ice Dudes. We got Wayne behind that. Wayne, the captain of Fresh Sim Racing, unfortunately quite far behind, but leading his team anyway from the back. Then we've got Alpha, we got Furry Fish, Andy, Windsor, and all the way at the back, Jinx driving for Fresh. Quite a mixed field there. It's quite obvious that the 2 teams are quite close to each other, quite competitive with each other. What are your predictions, G?
I mean, it's a very long race. I know the Lexuses are going to struggle on tyre wear. I think they've been, after an hour stint, they're only left with about 1 mil on the front tyres. So they might struggle late race. I think the Mercedes will pull through, and the Porsche on the front row, I haven't seen that before. So I can't say who my top 3 will be at this point.
I was not expecting that Porsche on the front row, and definitely not expecting Juan Bubbles to be P7 on this qualifying grid. That is definitely a shock to the qualifying.
Yeah, Moan did look very, very strong in the early stages, but the track conditions have caught up to him and everybody else as a result. So he's gonna have to settle for P7, but a good start can make a lot of things a lot better for him, hopefully. Got 1 minute left before the start of this race, so if you haven't got a drink yet, quickly grab one, get some popcorn, and you got 2 hours to enjoy this race between the SimZone and Fresh Sim Racing. Currently, the Fresh Sim Racing with a slight advantage, of course, grabbing pole position and P3, but the SimZone right behind there, sat in P2 and P4. And it's only looking at the top 4. It's just as mixed for the rest of the grid. Gonna be a very dark race apparently. Driving at night time, bit of a challenge for the drivers for sure. It's a little bit harder to see where you're going, but also it's just colder most of the time. You gotta have your pressures right, otherwise it's going to be a bad time for you.
We are expecting sunrise around about 4 AM, so keep an eye on the time on the top of the screen there. So it's 2 AM at the moment, 4 AM is approximate sunrise time.
Yes,
Just happens to coincide with pit stops as well, so it'll be very, very interesting if people can get their tyre pressures right as the track gets warmer.
Yes, so it's gonna be interesting for sure. The bit of swing in temperature then the drivers have to take into account. They have a pit stop to make, and that will definitely require some refueling because you can't do 2 hours on a tank. And they will switch tires most likely to something that will accommodate the ever-changing conditions. That's our formation lap sat on the back of our pole sitter, Matthew. Weaving a little bit, trying to get some temperature in these tires. They will be warming up the brakes as well. Let's get the pressures as good as they can be. Don't want to be caught out by your own car, so very important to get that right. The drivers have a set pace that they have to drive. They start out single file for most of the lap, and later on they will start queuing up double file, and that's when we will think about starting the race, which will be round about the start-finish line. See the Ferris wheel in the back with the lighting. You see some people still weaving, of course. Matthew working very hard on those tires. Going to be cold, so you're gonna have to work very hard to get the temperature into them, get the pressures as close to ideal as you can be.
Best thing for tyre temps is just to ride the brake. You won't lose a lot of tyre wear by doing that either. I think weaving with this temperature won't do that much, especially with the Lexus being really bad on tyre wear.
Yeah, well, of course it's going to be both is going to be better for temperature. I think it's just a choice that Matthew's making to weave a lot. Maybe it will catch him out on tyre wear. We don't know that yet, but we would see near the end of the stint. In the end, getting the temperature and the brakes, which will transfer to the tires just by diffusion. That should be the best way to heat them up. See some people.
I've seen 2 drivers still in pit lane. Have all drivers made it to the start of the grid, or we've got 2 starting in pit lane?
No, I believe Normac and Kenya are in the pits. Or that might just be a bug. I'm not sure.
So we can maybe have missed the start. There would be 2 SimZone drivers quite early on making a mistake, if that is the case. These do get the start from pit lane, but that's a big time loss.
That is a big time loss. It does say there. Yeah, I think they have. Yeah, I think they are in the pits.
It's very unfortunate. It's a bit of an unfortunate error to make. Not the worst thing in the world. You can still drive, and if there are incidents in the start of the race, you will very likely benefit from them just by the virtue of having a lot of time to react to it and stay out of trouble. That is, you see the drivers now lining up double file, which means that after this corner, going downhill, we will the lights will start going green, and that's when we will go racing. At some point, it will be told to hold a fixed speed. Drivers may be doing that now. As all the cars line up, we see all the lights getting in line.
Green light. Go, go, go.
And
green.
the lights go green. And we see the drivers have a decent start with a 117. Really challenging for that position there. But I believe the 13, well, by virtue of being on the inside, does maintain the position. And immediately behind, you can see two cars battling. It's kind of hard to make out who they are. But 34, Gizmo, currently I believe still sat in P6. Got Cooper in P8. Got SV in the Mercedes currently sat. Oh, but we do see some cars dipping a wheel into the grass, and as a result, all the dust being kicked up. It's not ideal, not what you want, but we do see Matthew currently still in the lead, having had a decent enough launch, sticking on the inside, and as the timetables sort themselves out.
Oh, I think Didi's off.
Ooh. We can see Didi in the wall.
Oh,
Very unfortunate.
A Mercedes
Have
waiting
gone
for
off.
him? That was a Mercedes. I think that's Sam Thumfinger. Yep, good sportsmanship there, waiting for. Oh, he's just lost the car again.
Ooh. I don't think it's simply waiting up. I think it's also part of just having damage and the car maybe being a little bit uncontrollable. This will not be good for your tires. I think he may have just given up a little bit.
Yeah,
it's very
he seems to be
unfortunate.
struggling with the auto clutch there.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate for Sam. Early hit for the Fresh Sim Racing team, but it's not over yet. It is 2 hours long. While it is a very big gap, and you won't see the leaders make that many mistakes, you can still fight his way back up and maybe have a very fun race doing it. We see Ron driving for the SimZone, currently in P3. He has made a position there at the cost of Kingy.
Well, Wan
sat in
dropping down the
P4.
order though.
What was that, Nath?
Wan Bubbles dropping down the order there as
Yeah,
well. So
Bubbles, yeah.
he's involved in that first lap
Oh yeah.
incident.
That is a good thing to point out. Moan Bubbles, of course, looked very, very strong at the early stage of qualifying. Dropped a couple of places near the end, and now is sat second to last. It's very unfortunate. That's a SimZone driver dropping quite far back as compensation, I guess. So it's still equal, 9-9. Let's see Hoardo for TSZ. Very, very close behind SV.
Oh,
Open this contact. Oh, and that sends both drivers into the gravel. Ah, that corner does not allow for a lot of side-by-side action. Eduardo does want to go back on track, but it's best to wait, otherwise you just cause another incident. Fortunately, the angle he sat at doesn't allow him to really rejoin with any speed, and that moves him all the way back. That is so unfortunate.
Yeah, that's the auto clutch again. Oh, Ron. Oh, that bubble. No, that was Bubbles, yeah. Just nearly missing him there.
It's very unfortunate, just a bit too aggressive, maybe. I think the stewards will have a look at that if we do have a privilege of some stewarding.
What's happened to Matthew? He's dropped down to third place.
Yes, good thing to point out. Well, the timetable doesn't show it yet, or he's catching up to some drivers.
No, that's Euphoric State and Ron in front. I think the.
Oh, you are absolutely correct. The timetable just being completely wrong on my screen, and Matthew has dropped 2 places. Must have made a small mistake. There it goes. Yeah, drops 2 places, not the worst thing in the world, but that's not what you want to do. Just driving at the front is of course a lot more relaxing, and now he has led 2 drivers from the SimZone as the lead Fresh Sim Racing driver through. So that is a big blow to the Fresh Sim Racing community, losing 2 positions there from the lead, and it's gonna have to fight back up there for the honor. As you see. Fresh going for the corner. I think it's
yeah, I think
And
he
Jinx,
missed braking point into this chicane, which is really easy to do on this track.
Yeah, that chicane, you go in there with as much speed as your car can possibly carry, and you have to have you want to brake as late as possible. But if you make any mistake, oh, as we see Jinx losing the rear there a little bit, didn't send it into the barrier, nothing major, just lost a little bit of time there. But yeah, if you make any mistakes on the hard braking zone, then you're just going straight. It's just very unfortunate for that to happen to him. Moving back the field, we see Normac currently sat in P14. Ooh, and that's a very nice little overtake on Andy. Andy maybe making a bit of a mistake through there, and Normac does not need a second invitation, says thank you very much, and goes through.
Yeah, it looks like Andy cries. And SimZone sandwich at the moment. Got Gizmo not far behind either. It's a 4-car train at the moment.
Yeah, it's very competitive here. But Andy facing a lot of pressure from behind. Really has to look into the mirrors more than he can look forward sometimes. Facing a lot of pressure from Kenny. Andy, of course, a fresh sim racing driver, being challenged by a SimZone driver. He's gonna want to hold on to that position. He's currently looking at the car of DD. DD is a SimZone driver. Currently sat in P17, just doing his job. Just gotta be there, even if you're quite far back. You just have to keep driving. You have to put in the lap times. And
the driver's got those early collisions out of the way, and we're going to have a nice good racing for the next hour, 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, something like that. That would, of course, be brilliant.
It was a really clean start, to be honest. I wasn't really expecting that. Got a good bunch of drivers here tonight, showing their skills and their on-track etiquette as well.
Yeah, for the most part, it's very, very, very clean at the start, and I think later on we saw people getting a little bit aggressive, making small mistakes. It's not unclean, of course, but it's not really what you want to do. But overall, I haven't seen very major crashes. There have been some people off, maybe just in the blind angle of the camera. It's not visible. Nothing obvious. Some people making mistakes, small mistakes, and Jinx also facing some pressure from behind. Winter right behind him in the Aston Martin, I believe that is. Normac also very close behind that. Ooh, Jinx really gonna have to watch his mirrors, because that Aston Martin is getting extremely close to him. Deck the 1, deck the 2, unfortunately for Windsor, not really overtaking opportunities. If you get the good line through there, and if Jinx does make a mistake like that, you will have an opportunity, maybe in the hairpin. So Windsor very close behind, is going to want to make the move, but it's not going to happen. Jinx going a little bit wide there, but get the car straightened out. Ooh, as we see two cars spun around.
That's between two SimZone drivers.
Ooh, it's oh no!
Yeah.
It's fraternicides. Two SimZone drivers have taken each other out. Normac and Kenny. Oh, the boss of SimZone is not going to be happy with that, and they will get a very, very firm talking to for sure.
I believe they tried to switch positions. I think Kenny might have been quicker. I'm not sure. That didn't seem to turn out very well.
No, and there's going to be some words exchanged there in the Discord chat for sure. But for now, they just have to keep focused and keep on driving, because there's nothing you can do about it now. On board with Alpha Racing now, I'm not really on board watching him from above. Chasing Ice Dude. Ice Dude is a fresh sim racing driver, and Alpha is a SimZone driver. So that is for this competition that we are having. Some meaningful positions. If we're gonna track that.
Looks like there's been an incident going around 130 with Wine Bubbles and Gizmo. The Gizmo's up and running now. It doesn't look like he's gone to the pit lane though. Looks like he's carrying on. He did hit the wall pretty hard.
Did you see exactly what happened? Do you know whose fault it was, or?
It looked like man tried to make a move on the inside and just basically caught the back of the Audi, and then the Audi is very unstable through 130R as it is. Doesn't need much convincing to be unsettled around that corner.
very important to have a collision like that. Oh, as we do see Windsor going around, hitting the wall there. Not too big of a tap, but that is going to make the car suffer a little bit. Simone getting very close to cars, but I don't think he's in a position to fight really. Having a really unfortunate race there. Well, actually, we're watching Jinx here losing a couple of positions. May have had a collision with Windsor. Maybe that's what we were seeing earlier.
There is a lot of cars over here, so it's very risky to make any moves right now.
This is traffic paradise right here in Suzuka. A lot of cars close together and keeping it as clean as they can. But it's not easy. It's not easy. Of course, they had a collision. When we do see a car, I'm not sure what happened there. We see two cars actually. They must have had it coming together.
Yeah.
Are losing themselves a lot of time and each other. It's very, very unfortunate.
Only 2 minutes. These drivers now, they just need to settle down, get themselves into a rhythm. It's still an hour and 45 plus to go, so everyone's fighting for every inch.
That was not good from Howard there. He tapped the back of Jinx. Had a bit too much speed into 130R and spun him round. I would wait if I was him. Doesn't look like he's going to do that.
That's exactly what it looked like. Also, we saw Jinx going a little bit over the curves. Might have been through contact of Eduardo. But what we can say is that as this race has gone on, it's been only 12 minutes or 11 minutes. And we've already seen quite a few collisions since the start. Which is not really what we want to see. So hopefully we'll see the drivers clean up their driving a little bit as the gaps start to increase.
Yeah, I mean, these drivers probably haven't done an event like this. I don't think anyone has between two communities for a while at least. So there's a lot of adrenaline going through, trying to get early moves on, but there's no need. There's still an hour and 48 minutes left, which is a long, long time.
Yeah, and I think there's also a case of you don't always know these drivers. You don't know what you can expect from them. Communities do drive a little bit differently, especially if they have a lot of close championships within their community. So as a result, they're all gonna try to figure out how they race, and they're gonna get it wrong a couple of times. That is also how it happens. We do see Alpha. I think he's made up quite a few places there just by not being involved in an accident, right behind Ice. And these two are getting it right. I say as Alpha takes the long way home, but okay, he hasn't crashed. He's still on track. That's the important part. And in the end, they have moved up a lot of positions, I believe, and that's just by staying out of trouble. Two very successful races for them.
Looks like Matthew's made a mistake. He was right behind Euphoric State, catching up to them. But now he's got behind Kingy.
Yes, that was well spotted there. Yeah, unfortunately lost a lot of time to U4 and dropped back behind Kingy as well. I think there's an 8 to 9 second gap now to the driver in P2. That's not what you want to see. Currently, the SimZone having a very, very firm grasp on the trophy. And it's going to take a lot, I think, for Fresh to retake that. So you do see Matthew sliding through Degner. It's not what you want. Maybe he has some damage. Maybe he didn't get the pressures right. Not sure what it is, but it's not what we were expecting to see after qualifying. And to make matters worse, right behind him, that is SV. And I believe SV is part of the SimZone. So there's potential there for Matthew to lose another position to the SimZone. Not what you want, but let's see how he deals with that pressure.
We've got Sam Thumfinger, who had the first lap spin around in the pit lane. He's now caught the back of the train. He is a lap down from everybody, and is a very, very quick driver. So expect to see maybe the Fresh guys getting out of the way. Not sure if the SimZone guys will be as so conducive to Sam getting back through the order. We'll have to see how it goes.
No, Sam's been improving a lot from what I've seen in the practice sessions. Not really fond of ACC that much, but I think he's starting to enjoy it more and more now.
He does like to
Jinx
use the back end of the
going
car
back,
to get
yeah.
loose. He's a very affluent drift driver and rally style driver, so the Merc is good for him in that sort of sense, but ACC is not.
Did see Jinx going wide there again, letting Sam through. Not really what you want. I think Jinx may be struggling with some damage there and stubbornly staying out, because if you box now, you're gonna have to box again. Your car's not gonna make it to the end. So very unfortunate for Jinx, and let's hope he gets a grip on that. I do see Bubbles quite far back up actually after earlier discrepancies. Currently sat in P11. Pretty clean last, well, let's say 8 minutes then, and let's hope he sticks to that. Furry Fish rounds out the top 10 for now, right behind Mon. So Mon is gonna want to overtake there and take that position back, and of course that is another SimZone fight. Mon chasing Furry Fish, who is part of Fresh Sim Racing. So again, this one matters for the internal competition here.
And another fresh driver right in front, GTM Coupe. Not too far ahead. We might have to see some team orders here. I believe Furry Fish is catching up quite quickly.
Yeah, it's gonna be a difficult one to figure out for them, because they do. Fresh Sim Racing does stand to lose 2 more positions here. That is not what you want. And as I look up, further bad news. Fresh has lost another position with Matthew losing out to SV. I think he's lost a lot of time there. Must have made a little bit of a mistake. Yes, 3 seconds behind. It's very unfortunate to see. We've got Ice Dude here defending from Wayne. This one still. Well, I think this is just both in the same team, so nothing to gain there for either team. Furry side by side with Mon, I believe, not having the speed, and Mon, I think, just flat out faster, overtaking. Oh, did he go on the gravel there, on the dirt? I don't see him in the wall, so I think he made it. It's a nice overtake from Mon, putting himself back into the top 10, and ready to continue his charge up the field with GTM next as a target.
Looking back down the field now, we've got Fresh Jinx. It seems to have damage after that incident in 130R a few laps ago. Losing a lot of time now, so maybe an early pit stop for him, or try and long it out with that damage. It'd be interesting to see what his strategy is for this race. Got Normac only 4 tenths behind. So if he can keep him off, that'll be really good for him.
Yes, of course, Normac part of the SimZone, so this one is very important for Jinx to keep behind. Struggling a little bit after the incident indeed, and I predict they probably want to box with around 70 minutes to go. I think you can make it on a full tank from there, if you save maybe a little bit. But it's very unfortunate to have this happen, really. Managing the damage relatively well, I think, considering it is 130R, and if you go into the wall, you're doing it at high speeds. That means a lot of damage, a lot of time to be lost. No slide there this time, so getting a bit of a grip on the damaged car and driving it cleaner now. An early apex, interesting to see, but it does mean that he has decent speed right now. Maybe just enough to leave Normac in the dust for now, but he's so close behind. One mistake for Jinx, and Normac is going to get that position. But equally, if Normac makes a mistake, then he's lost the opportunity. But he's very, very close behind, sticking nicely into that slipstream to that corner. Well, it's dirty air there, but here it is slipstream. Let's see if he can get enough overspeed, but that BMW, of course, is very fast in a straight line. And hopefully the damage doesn't do too much to impede that. A little bit wide there, but no, it's so close. looking around the outside, Jinx compromising his line a little bit. It's not quite enough for Normac to make that overtake. And Jinx lives on to fight another lap.
Great defending by Jinx there.
That BMW in the straight line is going to be a difficult car to overtake, though. The straight line speed of the BMW in the straight is pretty significant.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a slow car by any means, but the Aston Martin is also not. It's not slow, but it's not as fast as the BMW. Not as quick in the straight line. And 130R almost being a straight line doesn't mean that BMW is very difficult to overtake there.
There is a part of me that's wondering if Normac is wishing he did have an extra 4 cylinders. If he had the V12 Aston, it might be a different story.
Yeah, well, I mean, you'll be happy around 130R and a bit sad in Sector 1, you know? It's a give and take with these cars.
Just a small dig between me and Normac, 2 Aston Martin drivers in SimZone's GT3 series. Obviously, Normac races in the V8, I myself race in the V12, so it's always an interesting battle of power between technology.
Yeah, it's V12 is an interesting car. I'm not sure we have a V12 today, and I'm a little bit sad for that, because that's a very interesting car to see in the mix. See Gizmo very close behind Windsor.
We do have an update on the top 3. I believe Kingy is closing the gap between Ron and Euphoric State. So probably around 10 minutes, I think it will be 10-15 minutes. I think they'll be pretty close to each other, these top 3.
Yeah, Kingy putting in the laps that are necessary to really take the fight to them. And of course, the only P1 that matters is the person that is in P1 at the end of the race. No pressure to perform quite yet, no pressure to overtake, but once you are close, that does mean you can make strategic decisions to secure an overtake, maybe through strategy. Boxing a little earlier and going for an undercut, for example, but we'll see how that goes, even though you probably want to do an overcut instead. If you're that close, again, you will have the freedom to do that, as you see Gizmo extremely close behind Windsor.
Yeah, putting on the pressure there. Windsor doing a good job. I believe both these drivers might have damage. Yeah, I think they do.
It balances itself out then.
Yeah.
Both cars damaged, so both going to be difficult to control, which might make this come down to who has the better car control in this moment. And by the looks of it, I think Gizmo has better pace in this car, but can he make a clean overtake here? Very close near the hairpin. Maybe them both going a little bit wide. I think the 34 Audi there having a slightly better line, but it's not better enough. Maybe compromised by the existence of Windsor there, but that's all fair defending. Let's see if we can make it happen through the chicane later. Very nice.
Do you get the feeling these drivers have settled in now? They've got rid of all the nerves, the excitement of the race team meeting that it is, and then they all seem settling down. We're about 10 minutes away from the earliest pit windows, so.
Yeah, exactly. These drivers. Oh, and as you do see Normac, I believe, making a bit of a mistake. That does mean that the gap between him and Jinx widens.
It did look like Normac put a move on the inside, and Jamie on the edge. Jinx basically on the camber of Spoon just couldn't keep the car in a straight line. So it was a fair move to make, but the control of the car was not all there.
Fortunate to lose a bit of time like that.
Kingy
Following Gizmo.
also lost a bit of time that lap. It was about 2.1 seconds, I think. Now it's 5.8 seconds.
Yeah, very well spotted. And the third driver losing a lot of time to the top two. Don't know why. It's hard to figure out now, but let's hope this not
I think
cost him any
Jinx
damage.
made a mistake there.
Yeah, unfortunate. Jinx making a bit of a mistake there through sector 1, and unfortunately that's enough for Normac, who was very close behind the whole way through, to take that position and demote Jinx to P18. Who is not happy with that car, and the car is not happy with him either. Puts him into the wall, adds a tiny little bit more damage.
I think he touched that inside curb going up the hill. It's really easy to lose the car on that corner.
Yeah, of course, and not entirely happy with how the car handles, I'm sure, with the damage that he's conceded so far. It's easy to make that mistake there, as he's being followed through closely by a Porsche, the Porsche of Andy specifically. Here following DD, he was very close behind Fish. DD, of course, a driver for the SimZone, and Furry, a driver for Fresh SimRacing. Again, this one matters for the championship, or the fight that we have, the competition. Oh, and unfortunately for Furry, it goes Tokyo drifting through there, it seems, but he catches the car.
Well caught.
Wow.
Very easy to lose the car on that outside curve. I think the tyres will start dropping off quite a bit with these Lexuses now. Hence why Ron was probably losing a lot of pace to Kingy.
Yeah, losing the tyres there, but also if he keeps sliding like that, he only make it worse, and it's not fast as well. It's very unfortunate for him to lose it there. But fortunate for him, DD was not close enough to capitalize. So he lives on to fight another day. Not the way he wanted to, for sure. As you see Jinx going into the pits. Just taking the stop now, and might have to do another one, but it's better than suffering the damage.
Yeah, that's far too early for James to make it to the end now. He's going to have to do another stop with at least 15 minutes left to go before he runs out of fuel.
Yeah, it's gonna be two little sprints then for him. Maybe smarty boxes somewhere in between. I don't know actually what the best strategy here is.
Like the sky is starting to lighten up a little bit. It just wasn't as dark as it was 25 minutes ago.
Just good for the drivers, because it's impossible to see on the dark on the console ACC.
It's a bit of a good fortune then coming their way. But of course that was predicted, and that's just how the sun goes, or how the spins really. See DD is currently still sat in P12, but not putting as much pressure on Fish right now as he did earlier. Maybe lost a little bit of time, but plenty of time to continue that battle.
Ooh, Gizmo's up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Catching Gizmo, a little bit of a mistake there. It's quite unfortunate to do that there. Lose a little bit of time. Hopefully not too much for him.
I believe that's Sam something behind them. Yes, Sam's coming round to try and unlap himself. Very quick driver, as Nath said earlier. And on fresher tyres, I believe. I'm not sure if he's changed his tyres or not. But he has been set in the pits.
I would expect him to change his tyres. He is touring car champion on Project Cars 2, if I remember correctly.
Yes, he is. Very quick driver, Sam.
Lots of words to describe that he knows what he is doing, and he's trying his best to make this race into something positive still. Got quite a lot of time to make up, but I'm sure he's having fun doing a bit of a lost the first challenge, maybe catching people everywhere. We're following Kenny for TSZ, very close behind DD. Also a TSZ driver. This one is not for the competition, but it is still for position. We talk about the competition a lot, but of course these drivers just want to have a good result. It's much better to say that I finished P8 when I expected P12 than to say, well, our team won, which you know. It's like 9 other drivers you're talking about then. As you do see Moan then having made up a lot of time, and Ice Dude still currently facing the pressure actually from Moan. realized it was early in a fight with Wayne, but that has fallen away from him a little bit as he goes on the grass a little bit, losing him a lot of time. It may not look like a lot, but you lose that time for the rest of the straight. And yeah, that's enough for Moan to just take that position. No negotiations necessary, just coming through there.
Yeah, that Porsche significantly slower on the straights as it is, so oh, a bit of a snap there from nice dude, well saved.
Good save. A bit, maybe he's also dealing with a little bit of damage somewhere, but keeping the car on the road, ever important. But yeah, unfortunate to
just DD get a little bit wide at Spoon when we just caught that battle. You go wide at Spoon, it's almost an instant track limit warning, so 30 minutes gone. It'd be very interesting to know how many warnings each driver has. Yeah,
it's definitely going to be difficult keeping within the limits, especially with the damage that these guys have. It's really easy to get a drive-through on this track. You have to be really careful with track limits, as you said, especially through 130R. It's such an easy corner to run wide if you're carrying too much speed.
Yeah, exactly, and drive-throughs are very easily picked up, and they lose you a lot of time, and that's not time that you're going to easily take back, unfortunately. And of course, when you drive through the pits as a penalty, you are not allowed to have any work on the car done, as we do see Levi's do again, struggling a little bit with the grip there, with the stability. Maybe that's just how the Porsche looks on the braking.
Gizmo catching back up to Windsor here. I think that's Sam in between them. Yep, Sam's in between them, trying to unlap himself.
Maybe an opportunity actually for Gizmo to use Sam to his advantage.
Yeah, especially on this back straight before 130R. Or maybe not.
I think he's just having fun battling at this point, because this is not for position, but Sam making a small mistake and Gizmo taking advantage of it. In that position, which doesn't matter.
The two SimZone guys, Front Run and ST8, those guys have been in the battle for a while, but it does mean that all the way down to P5 are now within 10 seconds of the leader, so that gap up to 18 seconds earlier is now down to less than 10.
Yeah, somebody should tell these TSZ guys that you only need to fight at the end, and until then you just drive away in the sunset together.
I think they are battling. I think
on the back of the shot there, Kingy P3 looking to smell blood, and then SVW just at the right end of the shot as well. But expect Matthew to be too far away.
Oh, these. Yeah, I'm not sure if they are. Yeah, there we go. Flash of the lights from me for State.
I think State is asking for some team orders here. Believes he is the faster driver between them, and starting to feel the pressure from Kingy behind. Probably wants to get past as quick as possible.
Yeah, those tyres dropping off from the Lexus would be a smart move to let before State passed. Yeah, Kingy's only 2 seconds now behind.
Yeah, and that gap is going to continue to shrink, and the flashing not only indicates that that State does want to go past, but also that he's a little bit frustrated, and he's not happy with the position he's currently in. So hopefully it doesn't result in a
P1 to P5 all on the same piece of tarmac.
Yeah, they are very close together. You can see on the track map behind them there's nothing for a little while, but the top 5 is very close together. And well, let's hope those TSZ guys don't take themselves out of the competition there. They get too scared of the ever-approaching Kingy, who's currently within 2 seconds. In fact, within 1.5 seconds. So that is a territory of 1 or 2 laps, and he's there. And then behind we've got SV and Matthew. SV is SimZone driver and Matthew for Fresh SimRacing. Matthew, of course, had pole position and the better start, but unfortunately lost a couple of positions to mistakes. But he's back into the running, being less than 10 seconds to the leader again, and getting quite close to the pack.
Yeah, King is really close now. So is SVW. Matthew not far behind either. I think
that Lexus is going to be hard to overtake on Nix at the corner, so the Porsche has to really get it done in the corners, because the Lexus in the straight line coming out of the corner is a bit of a weapon.
Yeah, I think Euphoric State might have the edge on the corners, but it doesn't seem like he has enough to get past Ron. That's probably why Ron wants to keep the position.
Yeah, he's going to get very vulnerable as well, because that Mercedes has a lot of power.
Yeah, I've tested it in done a bit of practice with the SimZone guys, and it's unbelievably quick on the straights compared to all of these cars.
You see, folks, they're very close behind on the exit of the corner, but the Porsche simply isn't as fast as well any other car really. So not going to be an overtake anytime soon. And you can see that Mercedes very, very close. The gap now says 1.0, and it was 1.3 last lap. So slowly gaining on these guys that are going to have to sort out the differences at some point. As I see, Euphoric making a mistake. Rear right tire into the grass, and unfortunately that is enough to unsettle the car and send it into a wall, giving a free position to Kingy and SV, demoting to 4th place. That is so unfortunate.
We're still 10 minutes or so away from the earliest point drivers could realistically stop and make the end of the race with a bit of fuel saving, so should see a little bit of movement soon.
So we are having a look on board with Sam, a very fast driver, struggling in the back maybe a little bit, but having a fun little challenge with himself. I think you should look at it like that. Looking at Kenny. But first, looking at Ron, currently the leader in the race. Might have some explaining to do to Euphoric State later, but for now, still the leader, even if Kingy is getting ever closer. Currently 1.3 behind him, 1.2 as I say that. And let's see how that gap evolves over time. A bit slidey there on exit, that's not what you want. You do lose quite a lot of time from that. And like clockwork, you see the gap to Kingy closing just a little bit. And it's going to be in fighting range soon enough.
Here's a little bit down the order. We've got Wayne, Fresh Wayne, in P7. That gap to Alpha Racing ahead, it was about 7 seconds 5 or so ago, now down to 5, so I'm not sure if Alpha's starting to struggle as the tyres wearing thin or as the lights coming up, but Wayne is definitely catching.
Yeah, Wayne putting it in the pace that we can expect from him. Of course, getting pole position not easily done on this grid, and you can assume he has some pace from that, and he's showing it. Relatively catching up, but first has Euphoric State to contend with. Looking at Kenny.
Watching now, Kenny's had a really good recovery drive to get himself up to P11 so far. Not sure what it caused him to be so far down the grid, but he's had a really good recovery drive.
Yeah, I believe he started in the pit lane, I think, with along with Normac, not pressing the drive button in time, which is what I told them to watch out for before the race, but it happens. But yeah, great recovery drive from Kenny.
Yeah, mistakes like that are easily done. It's one of those procedural things where you have to press drive before the start of the race, otherwise you automatically are sent to the pit lane. And that's really just in case that somebody has really walked away from the PC or they're having an issue, but they are not on the way for the rest of the drivers.
Look how close Kingy is.
I believe that's maybe Ron making a little bit of a mistake, but Kingy extremely close to the back now of that Lexus car. As you probably read the letters Mercedes on that car, it's not what you really want to see. And Kingy, well, let's see what approach he takes in a moment. Is it going to try and make a move quickly, or is it going to play strategically and maybe wait for a mistake even? Well, let's not forget also that he has pressure from behind, and every second that he's behind this car, he's also facing pressure from another SimZone driver behind him. So he probably wants to go past rather sooner than later. But
Just see the driver that Lexus out of the corner there, the final chicane. The Merc might be quicker at the end of the straight, but getting out of the corner, that Lexus was just gone.
Yeah, the Lexus does have better drive traction up those slower corners. But I wonder if Ron's going to hold up Kingy just to give him a bit more pressure. I don't think so. Ron on much more worn tyres, it seems.
I'd say that Ron's given everything at the minute, judging by how he's pushing. The tyres just aren't underneath him, so must have just pushed a bit too hard that battle with the Porsche, taking a bit too much out of him.
Maybe the change in temperature then messing with the pressure a little bit. Ooh.
Oh, that's a drive-through for
The number 3 car, who he is?
that is
Huardo.
Huardo, yeah.
Oh no. That's the first penalty we've seen today. It's in the team of the SimZone. For P14 has a drive-through penalty, which is going to drop him a couple of places, which is very unfortunate. But it's easily done, and I suspect he will not be the only one.
Now this battle's going to be interesting. It's going to be a 5-car battle very, very soon. Euphorix there, MPS Matthew, and SVW within a second and a half of these leaders.
Yeah, it's this is really shaping up to be quite a fight, with Ron maybe not quite matching the pace of the cars behind, but just fast enough to keep Kingy behind him. And it does mean that the rest of the pack does get to catch up. Matthew is still a little ways behind, but SV and Euphoric very close, and even close to each other. So what Ron is doing is definitely benefiting the SimZone. You also see that they are fighting. I think SV taking a defensive line there, or just letting him through. He's letting him through. Yeah. But maybe that's a smart thing to do. Euphoric has proven to have a very good pace, and maybe he understands it's better to let him by now. And we do see Moan now also picking up a drive-through penalty. Very, very unfortunate. They've made has definitely made one mistake too many as he slides into the pits. A very interesting line to take there, but there we go. Serving his drive-through as soon as he can. And Lucy Icedew then will be taking that position along with Kenny for sure, and DD behind. It's not as punishing of a pit lane as, for instance, Spa, but you do lose a lot of time with a drive-through, and it's never necessary. So better just keep the car.
And he's got to stop and go.
I suspected he sped into the pit lane. Didn't want to say anything because you don't see it until you drive out of the pit lane. But he's got to stop-go for that.
Absolute disaster for Moan.
And that makes a drive-through infinitely more costly. That is not what you want to see. Absolute disaster. So unfortunate. But yeah, if we just focus on positive things, we got Euphoric very close behind Kingy. I think taking the pressure off Ron a little bit as a result. Kingy having to focus on the drive behind more than what's happening in front of him. Euphoric, a very fast driver. Frustrated with Ron earlier that didn't let him by. I think he had the pace to go by. Now let's see if he has the pace to overtake a Mercedes. Not in a straight line, but maybe later.
Yeah, through these S's coming up, Porsche's much quicker.
Mercedes much stronger on its tyres around this point in the stint, so Kingy is going to be starting to struggle, as is SV behind as well. So the fact that Ron's holding these guys bunched up is what's causing this situation to happen.
Yeah, do you see 2, 3 and 4 very, very close behind each other? That is essentially a train that could be tethered by a rope. You can't see that. And that's not the case. They are driving these cars to the limits, very close to each other. And you can see that Porsche, it's so fast through those S's and so close behind that Mercedes, maintaining that the position as we see SV dropping off a little bit through there. Pushing it into Degner. it's not going to be easy to overtake through Suzuka anywhere other than the straight. So it's going to be hard for Euphoric. But
The options
Kingy could
are in
make a
pit
mistake.
lane, and I would argue that with an hour 15 left to go, pit window for making the final stint on the full tank of fuel is about now. So when you guys want to avoid the battle and try and get the undercut, it's the earliest opportunity for it.
Yeah, it might even be a little bit too early because you might be forced to fuel save a little bit late. But we'll see what people are going to do in the end.
Porsche is much better on fuel compared to the Mercedes ahead, that is for sure.
Yeah, that is for sure. Mercedes famously bad on fuel. I think it's improved since the recent. Well,
Yeah,
it's not
it
recent
has.
anymore.
I think it can do.
Patch.
I think most cars can do over an hour on fuel. Not sure in racing conditions when battling, but at least driving around on your own, you can do over an hour.
Yeah, of course you're going to be pushing the car a little bit harder in these conditions. Not going to relax. As we do see Euphoric backing off a little bit as SV overtakes him. They are so close to Kingy, but Kingy currently the great wall of fresh sim racing, keeping all these cars behind him.
And he's allowed
letting Matthew to catch up. Yeah, I gotta say the same thing because it's just spectacular what we're seeing here. And Matthew had a couple of mistakes at about a 10-minute mark, lost a lot of time there and drops himself back into P5. But he's caught up now that all this battling has been going on for the lead, for P2, for P3. He's battling everywhere, and currently well and truly back into the fight.
You're just on board with SVW now. You can see how close these drivers are. Euphoric State behind and Kingy right in front.
Yeah, it's very impressive actually to see how close they can drive to each other like that. So consistently, no mistakes from either driver so far, really. And SV putting in the work, just putting on the pressure really. Overtaking is not going to be the easiest thing, and it might have been that they assumed that, well, since the Porsche is not good, as we see him go on the curb a little bit too much, has to correct. There's a little bit of speed there, but not enough to avoid the opportunity. So who knows? Maybe he's going to make a move.
This is going to be
into 130R.
Very risky
he's looking
move.
at it. He's looking at it. Oh, the side by side. Contact.
No.
Oh, the number 19 car is around.
That was not a very good move at all.
The stewards will have a look at that. Kingy absolutely fuming, I'm sure. That does make it a 1-2-3 for the SimZone, but not in the way you want.
I don't think it will be a 1-2-3 at the end after that move.
No, if the stewards have anything to say about that, that's definitely going to the office. That was a bit of an opportunistic move, leading to Kingy dropping back quite a lot of time. But the race is not over yet, and this might be the time to think about pit stops and an alternative strategy to get back at them.
I still wouldn't rule Kingy out yet. If he can, even with that little bit of spin, if he can get his tyres cooled down and potentially run a little bit longer, and the other guys ahead keep battling, it could work out in his favour, that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not over until it's over, of course, and there's still a lot of race to go, a lot of things that can happen. Do you see? I think Eduardo and Mon both picked up stop-go penalties. I think has Mon just stopped? I think both drivers may have just stopped.
Yeah.
Well, that is big hits for the TSZ community there. 2 drivers already out of the race. Not what you want to see, but well, that's just the way it is.
Looks like Euphoric State dropping off now, and Matthew up in third.
Yeah, that is Matthew up into third, breaking the 1-2-3 for the SimZone, putting Fresh Sim Racing back on the podium, and moreover challenging for P2.
Yeah, I think these drivers' tyres are really worn now, so it's might be time for pit stop soon. I'd say another 10-15 minutes and these drivers will be coming in.
Yeah, of course, but stopping too soon, of course, before the halfway point of the race does mean you'll be struggling at the end if you're already struggling now. But we might start see people going opposites, so planning to go into the box unless the driver ahead of you also boxes, just to have an alternative strategy and be able to drive your true pace. And we do see Matthew, he was really catching up. SV and Ron currently P1, P2, but Ron has kind of shown us that he doesn't quite have the pace to walk away from this race, and that might allow Matthew to catch up and take another position as time goes on. If work has dropped off a little bit, and Freshie gonna have to take some time to nurse the tires for a little bit while they get back into their optimal operating range to really push those for the rest of it. Alpha Racing then, kind of a best of the rest position then. I think not quite sure what is happening there. Oh no, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. But SV and SV I think has been overtaken by Matthew. Is that what I'm seeing?
No, it looked like SV went wide on the hairpin. Ron went into the apex, and SV couldn't get the car slowed down in time. So that gave Matthew the window to have a look, but still 1, 2, 3 is normal.
You're completely correct. I was looking at the wrong Lexus, but Matthew having a look then, ready to strike at any opportunity. But making the move stick is, well, it's not easy. It'll take a couple of attempts for him, I'm afraid, and you might want to solve this problem strategically instead. And there is that window that has opened for people to stop now. So any lap now. I do think we see Ron go into the pits, letting SV drive his true pace.
Yeah, I believe that
changes
his tyre's gone. Looks like Moan's still in the pits. I think he might have retired.
Assume so. Would be serving his stop go 30 if it wasn't the case. But still in the pits, so I think he is retired.
Yeah, Jinx. Speaking to Jinx, he's had a few issues into the wall, but he pitted with about an hour 20 left to go, and with the tank that the BMW has, it is possible for him to make it to the end with a bit of fuel saving. So if he can be more consistent than the guys ahead who picked up drive-through penalties and speeding the pit line penalties, it could be a quite epic not last challenge.
Yeah, it's quite a couple of laps behind, but you know, just drive your pace, see what you can do, and people are going to make mistakes. I think that's what we've got from this race so far. It's not going to be a first place, not even close, but maybe you can pick up a 17th or 16th even.
Yeah, that is Ron in the pit lane. Ron is in the pit, so he's blinked early. He's gone for the undercut.
Yeah, Ron has stopped early and has dropped back to P10, but the lack of green bar does show that the green bar shows that he has stopped. He has no more mandatory stops, and he can just drive his pace, and maybe the undercut will work out for him. I think because you take fuel on, actually, it's going to be slower at the start.
Because he's relying on the cars ahead, getting out of the way quickly or pitting before he gets to them. So if any cars are going longer and he gets caught in traffic, he could lose that P1 overall.
Yeah, unfortunate for him that he didn't really emerge into clean air. Unfortunately, right behind DD, and that does mean you lose time. Ooh, I think he's lost the position, in fact, to Ice Dude. I think he's made a mistake. Is that what happened?
I'm not too sure, he might have.
He might have, but in any case, he's right staring at the back of a car, and that is not what you want.
Qualification as well.
Oh no, has Wando been disqualified? What happened?
Must have been something to do with the pits, I think.
Could be just a...
That would likely be probably a corner cut. He had to drive through the track limit, stop, go down to speed in the pit lane, so probably
Yes.
gone straight on somewhere and cut too much track and is just instantly put as a disqualified through.
That eliminates one TSZ member from the race, which is very important. I think we've also lost... was that...
Bubbles, I believe.
Yeah, one Bubbles
Bubbles?
has left the channel.
Bubbles has also left, so that is 2 drivers from the SimZone currently out of the race. Very unfortunate. Oh, we do see, I think there was contact, and Ice Dude being spun around by Ron, if I saw that correctly.
Ice Dude's still there. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Seems
Ice Dude, I think
yeah.
I think Ron may have let him go there, but that is not what you want to see. Ice Dude, I think, conceded some damage from that. That Porsche does not look so good anymore. Oh, that is not what you want to see. Ron may be getting a little bit frustrated, set behind other cars, seeing the wind slip away from him and making a mistake. Simple as that.
First fresh driver in the pit lane for this normal standard pit stop would be Furry Fish. So he's further down the grid, driving the car he's not normally used to. Used to driving the McLaren here, in the Lexus for this one. But he's getting his stuff out of the way and a long way to go.
Jinx also seems to be in the pits. He just exited.
Yes. Oh yes, Jinx has also gone out of the pits. Driving again. Seeing what he can do.
I think Jinx is really struggling with his BMW. He had a really good race out on the Lexus at Nürburgring, 6 hours of...
Well, I think
a really good job there. Just struggling here in the BMW.
That's SVW and Matthew into the pits now.
Yes, exactly, which means that Euphoric State now has the lead of the race, and that means, with the Porsche being so terrible on a straight line and impossible for it to overtake anything, now we can really drive his true pace through the corners, and given a couple of laps, maybe that's enough for Euphoric State to promote himself into provisional first place after the pit stops. So very exciting to see what pace he's gonna do, and Matthew and SV will be hoping that they emerge into some clean air, that they can also drive their pace and come by either ahead of Euphoric or close behind and ready to fight. Euphoric, we do see Euphoric massively pushing the car there through Degner, absolutely smashing that pedal through the floor, going as fast as it can. Don't think he'll be stopping immediately. You probably want to enjoy this gap for a little bit. But yeah, he's trying to make the most of it, as Freshie is currently only 6 seconds behind. I think Freshie has, Kingy has made up some time to Euphoric and consequently the other drivers. So do see Matthew emerging very nicely in maybe P4, P5. I don't think it's fully synced up yet. Might be P6 or P7, but I think that means he's ahead of SV and Ron as well. Ron has lost quite a lot then, I'm afraid. Do see DD currently in the pits as well, making his stop. I think Matthew has dropped back behind Ron. I think something may have happened there, but Ron currently best of the 3 drivers that have stopped so far, who are fighting for the lead. Then I think that means that his stop has worked wonders, stopping early. For now anyway, still 2 drivers to go, and Euphoric is in the pits right now. And that means Kingy inherits the lead for now. Invites him to drive the pace he can. And well, I'm not sure how long he will keep doing that. Probably wants to enjoy the light car as long as you can. And this is still before the halfway mark of the race, so it could go on for long.
Go about another 10 minutes or so, 10 minutes more before needing to stop. So
yes, if Kingy, well, in hindsight is 2020, but if he has fueled up completely, then that would work out very well for him, being able to drive as fast as he can with clean air in front of him, nothing to worry about, and then stop and hopefully get close to the lead. I'm curious to see where Euphoric will emerge, but he's still in the pits. I think he's going to lose a couple of positions right about now. Oh no, has he come out?
There.
Oh, as we do see contact there. Windsor.
Ice Dude might have outbraked himself slightly and tapped Windsor around. Oh, but Ice is gone into the pits then.
That was unintentional. There you could see the drivers how this come together.
Yeah.
They both met each other at the moment.
I think Windsor was letting Normac past and Ice Dude went up the inside. Yeah, it looked like a racing incident to me.
Bit of a miscommunication then between drivers. Maybe I was not quite sure what was going on, but he's immediately gone into the pits. Also has quite a bit of damage to repair. He might lose a bit of time. And I think if we look at the leaders, provisional leaders anyway, the top 5 have, I think, also except for Kingy, who's currently still driving in the lead. The rest of the drivers do see run in P5 currently, best of the provisional leaders. We've got Matthew behind there, making up quite a lot of positions in the pit stops already, emerging in front of Euphoric and SV, who are the bigger losers in the pit stops. Very unfortunate for those two.
With Kingy out in front, it does look like the gaps, if you had them all up currently, it's going to be touch or go whether he can make that lead. He really does need to push, but he is pushing on old tyres.
Yeah, and he was quite a little bit behind before the pit stops happened. But he does have a lot more time, I think. If he did fuel up enough for 60 minutes, he's gonna go for another 3, maybe even 4 laps. And that can mean that he will be able to take the lead, but it's not going to be easy, and it's going to be close at best. To see Furry drifting through the corner.
He needs about a minute or time, so when Wayne was in the pit lane then it showed up as 38 seconds, so with all the other times, all the other gaps, it's about that point. So it's going to be touch or go at the minute, but he's got Sam right behind him, I think.
Yeah, I think it sometimes looks like a car sliding. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but looks like you're trying to get a little bit more temperature in his rears by sliding them around. Hopefully got the pressures right. But very close behind Matthew still, the provisional leaders, the leading pack that is currently sat in P5, P6, P7, P8. They are very close together, and that is going to be a fight for the rest of the race, I think. You do see, well, Wayne looked to be ahead, but the score sheet does need some time to sort itself out.
I think we've lost another driver now.
Has stopped. Yeah, we have lost another driver. We're currently at 17, so someone else having maybe a couple of issues and throwing in the towel. Very unfortunate to see. As we see Kingy pull into the pits, so this is going to matter. It's a bit sooner than I would expect, but it's going to be close with the leaders, I think. They're currently coming around Spoon, as Kingy's probably standing still in his pit box, waiting to be served. Or being served as we speak. You know, he's still driving to it because he's all the way at the end of it. The good thing is that he can immediately start accelerating out of the pits once he's done. Come to 130R. The moment he stops, it's going to be about 30 seconds to serve the car, change the tires, and refuel. And I'm not sure if it has any damage, but it can repair those as well. Coming through that now, Euphoric taking a lot of curb there. I believe Kingy is moving again. Where am I? No, I think it might be losing. Kingy still standing still, and unfortunately, that does mean that he loses those positions to Ron, Matthew, Euphoric, and SV. He's gonna have to fight back up.
He is going to be much lighter on much fresher tyres. These other guys who pitted 10 minutes ago have already done 5 laps.
Yeah, so that's going to make a difference. That those tire, well, the tire difference really, assuming they both calculated perfectly, assuming optimal play, they should be about equal on fuel, or equivalent on fuel anyway, because the cars do take fuel at a different rate, even with similar levels of driving. But then a new order for the lead is Ron in P1 and Matthew, after falling back to P5, back into B2. Of course, we still have Coop ahead of them, but he has set the stop and only 18 seconds ahead, so that is not going to last. Euphoric will be sat in P3 then, and SV P4 and Kingy will be in P5 once Coop has also made his stop. And then behind there we still have Normac, who has to make his stop, stretching it as late as he can, and Wayne is behind that as a best of the rest contender. Kenny, after not starting the race as intended, has fought himself back up quite far then. It's excellent to see from him.
Just got some insider information. Didi is disconnected from the race. I think he's going to try and join back, I'm not too sure.
It's very unfortunate to hear. Unfortunate to lose a race to a disconnection. It's no fault of his own, really, and not even intent to give up, just fate deciding otherwise. You see that Wayne is very, very closely followed by Euphoric. Paul is unfortunately not very fast in the straight line, but showing his pace through the corners and putting on the pressure, maybe relieving it from Ron, allowing the SimZone to fight for that win.
Looks like Ron is losing time here now.
Ron maybe either not happy with his tyres or maybe just not really having the pace to walk away from the drivers behind. We did see it earlier that Ron was bunching up the pack, but that can't not be the intention now because Matthew is behind him and pressuring. Although he might want to push Matthew into Euphoric, that could be a strategy that I would not recommend, but maybe he's trying that. We've got two drivers then still having to stop. Should be happening in the next 5 to 7 minutes. I don't think it will take much longer than that. And that is assuming some of them are fuel saved.
Blue flags now, these leaders are catching up to some back markers. It's not going to be easy to get past, especially when these back markers are battling. Well, as I say that, you just let them past. It's a Porsche.
Yep.
I believe that's Andy? Andy Crown? No. Ice Dude. That's Ice Dude. Yep.
Ice Dude doing pretty okay considering the issues that he's been having with some coming togethers and otherwise. Sudden P14, maybe not where he wanted to be, but holding up quite nicely considering. Oh, Matthew under pressure from that Porsche, but that Porsche is not fast in a straight line. Matthew's likely going to be okay, but that's as much pressure as he's been under this race. The gap is 1.5 tenths.
I think as long as you're in that tow with the Porsche, you are able to keep up, but not get past.
Fortunately, you cannot be in slipstream when you actually overtake. You have to pull alongside. Oh, see a spinner.
Yes, Euphoric stage.
Who's
That's exactly where he lost it last time, I think.
Oh no! He's lost it through the S's there. Oh, it loses him a lot of time. I think that's exactly where he lost it indeed. A little bit of a deja vu feeling. And dropping him back, I'm not sure how far back. We'll have to see for the timing sheets to update. But yeah, that's not what you want. I think that does mean SV will be ahead of him. Well, that is exactly what that means. And Kingy now only 3 seconds behind. And that's 7 seconds. That's a lot of time to make up. I'm not sure if you might be able to do it. There's a very fast driver, but it's going to be a challenge to also then overtake after that, because then it matters. We don't have any pit stops anymore, and if you do have to make them, then you've made a big mistake. And Matthews really putting on the pressure and run now. Nothing to keep him back. Nobody behind to pressure him. So this is going to be a straight battle between two Lexuses.
Still got one driver to pit. GTM Coupe is running a very long time on fuel. should be able to gain some positions by running longer.
Absolutely, of course.
Yeah, GTM Cooper's
Running the
back
lighter
from P7, P8, that's where it was initially, so as long as you can stay ahead of that battle, you should be good going long. Maybe 5 minutes tops of fuel than that BMW.
You do have to remember that BMW is currently the lightest car on the track, so it's going to be faster provided that the tires will allow for it. I'm not sure what is more important in ACC and how that evolves over time, but that might be an advantage if he kept his tires nice. Look further back, we do see Windsor very close behind Ice Dude. It's a little bit of a pack, I think, I might be looking at the leaders there because they were recently overtaken as backmarkers. Ice Dude quite a distance behind Gizmo, so it's just between Windsor and Ice Dude then. And Matthew very close behind Ron.
Drive through for Porsche P5. So he's only had 2 spins, but he's also now got drive through on track limits. That's him done for P5.
Oh no, that's Euphoric unfortunately losing it. If he's lucky, then he's gonna make it into P5. But the top 4 is likely not reachable anymore with Kingy likely catching up to this pack as this battle continues.
He's going to lose about 55 seconds or so in pit lane with that drive through. It'll bring him at around P8, P9 battle, maybe in around Normac and P10.
It's Matthew looking for every opportunity to get past, but Ron doing a brilliant job at defending. Only 3.3 tenths behind now. Ron going defensive early. Matthew looking up the inside, but there's no room there.
Matthew does have slightly fresher tyres, but when you're stuck behind the car this close, it's not going to do you any good.
You're on positioning the car on the middle of the track. You want to be left to make the radius of your turning as big as possible, but he positions it on the inside, perfect defending from him. And for the rest of this sector, I think he can relax a little bit because there's no overtaking opportunities here. Doing an excellent job keeping Matthew behind and slowing him down. And SV will be able to catch up with all this battling going on for sure.
I believe that's Euphoric State. Cleared his drive through. Where has he come out? Is that behind Wayne? I believe it's behind Wayne, yeah.
That is quite a big loss, really. Not what he wanted from that. Ooh, as we see Matthew looking around the outside, being a bit later on the brakes, but nothing there. It's very unfortunate. We do see Euphoric, that says ahead of Wayne, but he's behind Wayne. If G is to be believed. Yeah, there we go. It's updated now. So Euphoric is still do something for the SimZone by overtaking the next 2 drivers. And I think Wayne is going to be doable enough. But Kingy is quite far up the road. And even then, I'm not sure Wayne is going to let go of that position easily. In fact, I can guarantee it, that's not going to happen. Ooh, and we do see the leaders battling here. I think Ron missing his braking point, and Matthew, well, a bit of a cheeky corner cut maybe by Ron there, extending the lead through there.
I believe he would have got a
flashing
track warning from that.
Yeah, it's definitely had a track warning from that, but Matthew not happy with that. It was a very close battle and just kind of built out of it, taking a shortcut, let's say. You see FC has dropped off a little bit. It's the last time we had a look. Alpha Racing then, and I believe that's Alpha ahead of GTM?
Alpha ahead of GTM Coupe on the final lap. It happened at the first Degner. GTM Cooper's not able to get the car stopped. Fresher tyres just come out the pit lane, so that battle is definitely not over. When GTM Cooper gets up to speed, up to temperature, that's going to be back on.
Right, so it's a bit of a switch there, but not over yet. As we see Matthew making, is that Matthew? No, that's Furry we're looking at.
Very fish, yeah.
Furry making a little bit of a mistake, sliding the car a little bit, but keeps it under control. No major crashes. As I believe you saw contact.
Slight contact.
Sure, what happened there?
SVW, and I think that was iStude. Just SVW trying to get past. I think iStude is a lap down.
That is not what you want to see then, but lost him a bit of time for sure. As we see Matthew again very close behind Ron. This fight is going to be taken to the end if Ron can make that happen. Matthew for sure has the pace. Just getting past that car. It's the same car, both Lexus of course. There's not going to be a major difference in top speed, and that makes it so much more difficult to overtake.
Let's go on board with Matthew here. See exactly how close he is.
A very good look at the racecraft of Matthew. How he puts Ron under pressure, keeps it cool through his S's. Drives the racing line, no compromise lines here, no looking for moves. Tries to be as fast as he can.
Contact!
No! Ron made a little bit of a mistake, was a little bit slow, and Matthew saw a chance, put his nose in there, and it has spun Ron around. I'm not sure what the stewards will say about that, but that is definitely something that will be looked at. We had a front seat row view of that. You have your own opinions on that, but I think the stewards will have a look at that, and that might end up deciding the race. There's not much you want to see.
Definitely leave the door open. It was there for the move, but the door closed very, very quickly. So it's a bit of a 50-50 from my point of view.
I think it was a 50-50 as well. A bit unlucky for Ron. That's just tough luck, but he's still in P2, which is still a good result. And
still 40 minutes to go. Race isn't over. Still a race distance to go.
Yeah, exactly. He does face pressure now from his teammate. Not the SimZone driver, but I don't think he will let him pass if the history is anything to go by. He's going to keep fighting for every position, I think. It's an unfortunate error to make, and quite costly. Of course, I'm sure the stewards will be looking at multiple camera angles. We can look at what we see from that one perspective, but if you have more camera angles to look at, you might as well make draw different conclusions as a result. Do notice that Kingy is now only 4 seconds behind the top 3. It's going to be in contention, I think, to overtake and put himself on the podium near the end of the race.
And the number 5 Ferrari of Wayne is up into P5. I'm not sure when that happened.
Oh, he's made it.
Now he's in the wall.
He's made a mistake there.
Wayne,
pure commentator's curse.
Yeah, off the track at 130. That's not where you want to go over the track if it had to be anywhere, because that's a fast corner. It tends to cause a lot of damage, but that does let Euphoric State back into the P5, into the top 5. It's a lot of time to make up though, so Kingy is very far away, hard to catch up to. Unless something happens, it's probably going to stay in P5. He's going to do his best to prove me wrong, I'm sure. DTM was of course the last man to box from the lead and currently sat in P8. Quite close to Alpha Racing, so it's going to be fighting for P7 in a moment. Wayne is likely a little bit too far back, being another 13 seconds or so ahead. doing a good job there. I think the strategy of going along has paid off decently well.
It looks like the gap between Matthew and Ron is staying pretty much the same. So Ron not catching up to Matthew, and Matthew not pulling away either.
That's quite interesting, actually. You'd expect from what we've seen so far that Matthew would be running away with it. Was taking pole, let's not forget, and having a very, very solid start, but due to some unforced errors, put himself back to P5, and after pit stops, put himself into a position to fight for the lead, which he has since taken. You would expect him to be faster, but that's not really coming true.
Say that, and Ron's just knocked off 4/10 that lap, so gap is coming down. Matthew could have made a mistake. I think he did go deep into the last chicane, so might have just been a lapse of concentration there.
Yes, it's a bit unfortunate, but still, what is it, 40 minutes to go. Anyone can make a mistake, just gotta be sure that you are not the one making it. 3 seconds is enough, of course. I mean, a thousandth of a second is enough for me to finish in P1. But it's going to mean you're gonna lose you're gonna lose some time, and as a result face some pressure from behind. Looking at the beautiful pink liveried car driven by a GTM coupe. Number 7 BMW. Close by now for racing. I'm not sure if he's gotten close. I think it's been roughly equal, the gap, compared to last lap around. Also worth a mention, Sam Thumbfinger currently sat in P15 after being dead last after the start. Has really made up a lot of positions in a lot of time. Doing great so far. Oh, as he drifts through the corner, almost being commentator cursed there. Really pushing it through the deckness, but keeps it all on track, so that's all good. Not great for the tyres.
Looks like we do have Didi back with us. And he's battling with Jinx.
Right, that's good to see. So Didi still in the fight, not entirely out of it. Still allowed to have some fun here, so always good to see that. I see Jinx go a little bit wide through Degner, but keeping the car under control. Easier said than done, but well done there. You see the gap near the front coming down again, but Didi, ooh, very, very close. So Jinx, I don't think that was the optimal way to take that, but still keeps that position. He's right there with oh no, wait, what?
I think that was a bit of a connection issue.
That's a bit of desync.
Yeah.
So these guys are battling a lap down, and you've got Gizmos looking to put a lap on both of them behind in the Audi.
Could we see some team tactics here? Maybe Gizmo and Jinx working together, even though these two are a lap down.
Yeah, so it's Jinx in P17 in the BMW, and then there's Didi a lap behind him after the disconnect in the Porsche, and then behind them is the Audi of Gizmo's P12. But trying to put a lap on both of them, but he's trying to catch up to Furryfish, so he can do less of this.
We see Didi looking on the inside, Jinx making a small mistake, and Didi making that move stick. What a brilliant move from Didi. I think it might be the move of the race there so far. It was a brilliant overtake there through turn 1. Well done.
Oh, connection. There we go.
He just flies off the track, and your heart stops for a second, and you remember, oh right, it might be a desync. You know, his connection is quite bad. He just did disconnect earlier, but he's all right. Okay, I think the gaps are somewhat stable now. Nothing really under a second. A couple of gaps to about 1.3, 1.5 seconds. Alpha Racing here leading from GTM Coupe. The last one to stop, and I think it's paid off, and he's really in a fight for P7. Rather keeping it all stable. Still 34 minutes to go, more like 35. Still a lot of time to make it happen. No rush for it. You see the gaps near the front settle at around 3 seconds between each driver. I think Kingy is notably getting a little bit closer. It's definitely one to watch for later on. Entering a bit of a holding pattern, I think, between a lot of drivers. As we do see Ron,
Yeah.
Ron catching up quite a lot last lap, immediately proving me wrong.
Yeah, so Gizmo caught the curb on 130R, looped it round on a rejoining, kind of got in the way of the race leader. That's what caused Ron to catch up.
It's a bit unfortunate then for Matthew to lose time like that. Ron
I would expect
benefiting from
to
that.
move out of the way pretty easily at the moment. There we go, straight out of the way. He doesn't want to be involved in this battle.
Yeah, very very tense battle that's gonna be. Gizmo doesn't want to be involved in that. Might end in tears, you know. But Ron, it's about 2 seconds then, lost a little bit of time there, but definitely in position to fight. And unlike what we may have been expecting, Ron not dropping off too much. He didn't really have the pace to walk away, but he's got enough pace to keep up.
Yeah, his tyres might be coming back to him now. They do go through a graining stage and then they come back to life after a few laps.
There's sometimes a bit of a mystery. They they work one lap and don't the other, and then they come back. But it's always figuring it out for every game, for every car, for every driver even. Differs a little bit. Ron loses a tiny little bit of time through the last sector. He does like to take all of the curb and then some going through the last chicane. On the start finish right. Optically it looks a little closer than 2 seconds now, but we'll have to wait for the timing sheet to update. Yeah, that's 1.8. So he's gained a little bit in the last sector. Let's see if he's gonna keep gaining, because that could be trouble for Matthew. As we're looking at Furry Fish then. Very, very close to the driver ahead, who goes by the name of Normac. It's looking... It's gonna be the outside for the hairpin. But no move there. Blocked off by Normac, nothing you can do there. Normac, of course, I think it was one of the drivers that didn't start the race. But he's fought himself back up into the top 10, same as Kenny, who's one spot ahead of him. They've both done really well to be up there, keeping it relatively clean.
It's worth keeping an eye on the battle between Alpha and Wayne in the next 20 minutes or so. Wayne, who we saw loop I think it was the S's he had contact in with the wall, and Alpha is catching. That gap before the crash was about 18 seconds. It's now down to under 10. So as the race goes on, last 30 minutes, Wayne's struggling with that damage, and Alpha is hunting him down. And GTM Coupe we've seen isn't too far away either.
Yeah, absolutely. Alpha also doing a brilliant job of keeping it clean. P7 currently, and there's hopes for P6. The gap looks big, but it shrinks to be ever smaller, and having some trouble with back markers. I don't think he's too happy with that. Just lose 2 seconds to that. That's not what you want to see, and that does mean that Wayne catches a little bit of a break there. A little bit less pressure on him to perform, but it's going to be difficult, I think, still for Alpha to make up that time. It's going to be about a second a lap, and then some. You're gonna have to overtake as well, but as you said, if there is damage, that's going to be possible, and if the gap keeps shrinking, we're going to look at a gap later that is maybe not so insurmountable. Go back to Furryfish. Right behind Normac, also a close battle for position. If my memory serves me right, and I think it does, it's also for the competition. Let's not forget we are doing a competitive race between the SimZone and Fresh SimRacing. Currently, Fresh SimRacing having the lead. Next 2 drivers on the podium being from the SimZone. Kingy on the chase for Fresh. But euphoric state again for the SimZone in P5, also trying to chase down the pack, having lost a lot of time. They've got Wayne for Fresh.
Still back down to 17 drivers. Is that another disconnect with DD?
Yeah, DD, yeah, he's having some connection issues, so I don't think he'll be joining back after that second disconnection.
Oh, that's very unfortunate. We've lost DD then from the race, I think this time permanently. Had a good race, to be fair. He's done well. I think he's made the move of the race so far. So sad to see him go. Hopefully he'll be back some other time, showing us what he can do, which has been quite a lot. Lexus and Aston look quite much there throughout the track. It's not really pulling away so much, and the Lexus not catching up too much on the straight. A bit of a holding pattern between these two. Maybe not trying to push it too much. Of course, the only time you have to be ahead is at the end. Maybe not trying to rush it. This is the best, but that's up for grabs. Lexus have all the turn in the world for Degner too. A very sharp corner. Aston Martin under pressure as a result. Oh, Lexus very late on the brakes, maybe a little bit too late on the brakes. That does mean he has a very wide hairpin and not really in contention for this straight. Aston Martin fortunate not to be hit there, and that does mean a couple of car lengths behind are conceded by the Lexus. Pretty good exit. Lexus going a little bit wide there. That means you're gonna have to go late on power, which does mean you lose some time. And obviously the gap is just too big to try for a lunge. Lexus tries it late on the brakes, but it's not enough. Do see that these cars are a little bit different to the braking zones and the acceleration zones. That does make quite a difference, but it's not enough to for Fish to make an overtake. Norma currently stable then. Look at the grid, we can see that the gap between Matthew and Ron is now almost exactly 2 seconds. That's going to be close. Coop is very close to Alpha Racing, who's currently 10.5 seconds behind Wayne. That means the gap has shrunk by roughly half a second in the last 3 minutes. It's not going to be enough for Alpha. As I say that, there's another half second being chewed off. So, you never know. Usually Ferry not really able to get close to Normac right now. Does mean that an opportunity is not close, not in the cards. And do not forget, you can vote for Driver of the Day if you haven't already. Should be a link in the comments. Please do have a look at it. Please vote for the driver you think performed the best today. Had a maybe surprisingly good race, or just a very spectacular race, a clean race, and something commendable. So let us know who you think Driver of the Day was. Or has been so far, because we of course still have 24 minutes of racing. There's plenty of time to make some very nice moves. Currently in a bit of a holding pattern for most of the grid, but there's 2 battles at least going on. Or I said 1 battle at least going on. We can see it right here. Coop and Alpha very close together. So Alpha is trying to catch Wayne, but unfortunately for him, facing pressure from behind. Going to make it quite tough to just force that move. Having a little bit of a look at the YouTube chat that we're having here. See some fans from Team Fresh and Team SimZone for supporting who you are a fan of. Very nice to see.
Drive through for Kenny, track limits. That's going to put him down a few bases.
No, that is unfortunate. He's going to lose a couple of places. I think with Normac and Ferry at least. And yeah, that's not what you want. I think that's going to cost a lot of other places actually. If Gizmo is anywhere close, that study might be okay to Gizmo. But we'll have to see. Very unfortunate to concede that so late in the race. You probably do have a couple of drivers driving on eggshells right now, really trying to avoid that the last warning, or maybe even the penalty, being on 3 warnings. And we have driven for 1 hour and almost 14 minutes on top of that. Still 20 minutes to go and to keep it clean. Especially if you're in a battle right now, which 2 drivers are, then it's easy to make a mistake and force yourself into a warning.
Gap at the top still hovering around 2 seconds, so no one gaining or losing out yet.
On a bit of a holding pattern for the entire top 4 essentially. I think the biggest change there has been Kingy maybe losing a second, but that's it. And that's been over across like what, 8 minutes? So they are quite stable there and not much happening for now. That does mean that Matthew does have to keep it controlled, keep it stable. He can't really let up. Just, you know, losing time here and there is not what you want. And that does mean that Ron will be able to catch up and potentially overtake. So the pressure is still on. Speaking of pressure, we can see Coop very, very close behind Alpha. BMW's fast in a straight line, but I doubt he'll be straight enough on this occasion. Or fast enough this occasion. It's also not straight enough because right here we do have a corner. It's not entirely a free corner, and the BMW being so fast, it's sometimes harder to make. Looks on the inside, does compromise his own line a little bit, but the move is simply not there. And, he's gonna have to wait a little longer. for racing, it's so controlled, and that Mercedes. Suzuka is a very hard track to overtake. Of course, Sector 1 is all turns essentially after the end of the start finish straight.
Oh, Ron! Drive-through penalty for track limits.
Oh no! Oh, Ron! Oh, that is unfortunate. That is the second SimZone driver in the top 3 falling to a drive-through penalty. Oh, that is.
See him drop to about P4, P5, I reckon. I don't think Wayne's close enough to catch up. But the Porsche looks like it's just dropped a pace potentially. No, I'm reading that wrong. So yeah, Ron's coming in now. He should.
I think
he's
yeah,
he's parked it.
I think he might have retired. Not sure what's happened here.
That is not what we want to see. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, that is unfortunate. There'll be a bit of frustration there, kicking himself, but you gotta keep going in these moments. Just take it on the chin and keep driving. P5 is still better than nothing at all.
Yes, seems
Matthew.
like, let's have a look at Ron's POV. Yeah, seems like he's just sat on the menu.
He could also be having an issue with not only course the track limit warning, but also the standing still, as we can see now. But let's hope that is something that can be resolved. I expect if it was a rage quit, he would already be out of the lobby, but that does not appear to have happened. Very unfortunate then, but good news for Matthew is that he has no pressure for a little while, SV being 8 seconds behind, which is a big gap. And I do notice that the gap to Kingy has also grown from SV. The top 3 quite fast separated now. Euphoric, I don't think he's been able to make it happen with solid pace. Not quite catching up, unfortunately.
Even with Ron dropping down and having that drive-through, it's pretty even. So we've got a fresh driver in first, SimZone driver in second, fresh driver in third, SimZone driver in fourth, fresh driver in fifth, so on. So it's alternating at the moment.
It's alternating for quite a while here, indeed, and I think Ron has now exited the pits. Maybe fixed his issue. Let's hope it's permanently fixed and doesn't come back. He's sat in P8, and if the theory is correct, I think for the tied P8, the even drivers are indeed TSZ drivers. I believe the first one to break it is Normac, who's sat in P9, which is of course an odd number. Fish as a fresh sim racing driver is in P10, so those two just need to switch for the pattern to be complete. But of course, we do see someone go very wide, and I
believe that's Jinx moving out the way. These guys.
There might be Jinx moving out of the way in a very violent manner and parks the car. I'm not sure if that's where you want to park it. That's a little bit on the razor line. Not sure what happened there.
Fuel? Maybe he's run out of fuel. Oh no, he's getting going again.
I have a different kind of issue. It's not what you want to see. It's very unfortunate. As we continue to see the fight between Fish and Normac.
A three-way battle as well. No. Yeah, Ron,
that's a three-way battle. Yeah,
and Fish.
Yeah, Ron unfortunately having dropped so far back, but guess still fighting for position. I'm not sure what we saw there. Did Ron just let someone by?
He seems to be slowing down.
I think Ron has an issue. I don't think it's fixable. Slowing down again.
Moving off the racing line, yeah, I'm not sure what's happened.
Not moving into the pit, so I think it's something that he thinks he can fix. Let's hope that is the case. I mean, the good news is that we do have our alternating continuing until P10 now, so the pattern is complete. Always got to look at the bright side, as silly as it may seem. Very unfortunate for Ron. I hope he can fix it and start putting in some good laps again. Be regaining some positions, but that's already a 6-second gap last time I checked. GTM very close to Alpha. Still, it's been a continuous fight with these two. Can't quite decide who should be ahead. For now, GTM seems to have to accept being a spot below Alpha, but he's still got 15 minutes to go. A little less than that before the last lap starts. So he's got some time. Got some time to make the move happen and go up to P6. We do see Alpha has caught up a lot to Wayne. In the last 15 minutes, it went from 11 to 7. So that is it's a lot of time gained for sure, but I doubt it's enough to really challenge for that position. If Wayne makes a mistake, it's very possible, but unless that happens, I don't see it happen that easily. We have Furry then quite close behind Normac still. This fight going on for a little while.
Three-way battle here. GTM Coupe, Alpha Racing and Fresh Wayne.
Well, Fresh Wayne has dropped off a lot then. I did say if he makes a mistake, it's going to be a battle, and here we are. Commentators curse, right on cue. Yeah, that's a 3-way battle now for P5, best of the rest effectively. Yeah, that's very unfortunate for Wayne, but let's see if we can hold these guys off. Presumably driving with some damage, judging by the
GTM Coupe asked for a Max Verstappen style miracle, and he gets one in form of his teammate, unfortunately, but he needs to use this opportunity now.
Yeah, if you can draw that analogy in Wayne pulling a Perez here, maybe we can see GTM pass Alpha, but I'm not sure Alpha is just going to let that happen. He's gonna want that position. It's in sight now. He's got to make it happen.
We know Alpha can get quite animated on his stream, so we see if he can stay calm, make a move into turn 1. It looks like he's got a good run. Wayne does have damage.
Yeah, he does have a good run. He's very close behind, pulls alongside. Just got to be a later breaker into the first corner, but not too late. But I think he's managed to pull it off. Yeah, stays nicely within the lines, and that is job done. Although he's a bit slow.
Wayne, on the exit, though.
Yeah, Wayne back in the attack, still side by side.
On the exit, and managed to stay side by side for quite a long time. Really, Alpha having a little bit of an advantage, and now he's a full car ahead. So Alpha does end up taking the position, but not as smoothly as he wanted. Now he'll be able to pull away a little bit, with Wayne now worrying about his teammate right behind.
Yeah, that's the sort of clean racing we want to see here.
That's brilliant driving.
Been quite a bit of drama, but that was brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a rough race for the most of it. The start was pretty clean, I think, the first 5 minutes, and then after that we saw a lot of people make mistakes. There were a couple of instances of contact, and that has meant that a lot of people have dropped off. But you do see drivers like the GTM that have kept it clean, that are benefiting from this. And late in the race, we can see them reap the rewards.
Am I right in saying that SVW is slowly catching up to Matthew?
Oh, I think slowly is an understatement. I think he was 5 seconds behind, or like 6 seconds earlier, and he's now catching up relatively rapidly for the standards that we have seen. Drivers being pretty close in pace, but SV really putting in the laps, and trying to bring home that victory for the SimZone, which I don't think we were seeing. We were really counting on anymore. So let's see if SV can make it happen.
Going into the last 10 minutes, there are no team orders on Fresh SimRacing, so the guys are free to battle out to themselves. First 10 minutes and last 10 minutes, it was all about your own self, and in the middle, you race for the team. But now, GTM Coupe and Wayne are fighting each other legit on track.
Yes, this is for the positions. You do want to say I've overtook someone on track, even if it is your teammate, legitimately, and managed to finish P6. I always think P6 sounds a lot better than P7.
Keep an eye on the Porsche ahead there. I think that's the 77 Porsche of Ice Dude. Yeah, Porsche ahead, so he could be have an integral role to play in this battle.
Ice Dude, of course, I think part of the same team, so it's just gonna have a bit of a front row seat to the fight happening. You do see Wayne very close behind. Yeah, very close behind Alpha still, yeah. Lost that position, but it hasn't really lost touch. Not as much as I would expect, judging by how much Alpha was catching earlier. But still a lot of time to make some mistakes if you want to. I do believe that's Wayne dropping a position though to GTM Coupe. So that's that battle done for now. Wayne dropping a position to Coupe. Or better said, Coupe overtaking Wayne. Currently sat in P6.
Between the top two, only 2.1 seconds now.
Yes, you are right. So that is Matthew losing a lot of time to SVW. And I think we see part of the reason there, side by side with not a Lexus. Must have been a little bit of cheeky blocking happening.
Yeah, I'm not sure why these two are battling. I think Ron being a back marker, trying to get past. If I was Matthew, I would let him past, just so he wouldn't lose time to SVW, because they're not fighting for position at the moment.
No, they are not, and you would assume that Ron does have the pace to keep up with Matthew, but he shouldn't really be trying. Ooh, I think there was some contact. Oh, and that is Matthew taking out of the lead by a back marker by the name of Ron. That is infuriating to Matthew, I am sure. Wow, that is not what you want to see there. Ron taking out Matthew, and that, I believe, yeah, has given SVW the lead as it stands, and that would be the win. But that is not what you want to see. That's not how you want to see it happen. That is just... I have no words. I have no words.
No, I think we'll have to reinstate that position. That's not exactly what you want to see from a back marker. I think there was a initial contact which pushed Matthew wide onto the curb, and then he eventually lost it.
Yeah, that's that is not what you want to see. I just have no words. That's I feel bad for Matthew. Is really what it comes down to. Kingy now 4 seconds behind Matthew, but I'm not sure if they're gonna fight too hard there. Seeing how it happened. GTM Coupe still quite close behind Alpha. That's going to continue being a battle, I think, for the next 6 minutes. They still have 6 minutes left in the race. Look down the order, I think most gaps have settled somewhat. Wayne is behind there, but the gap is too big and is generally shown to be a little slower in both Coupe and Alpha. You see Euphoric State, P4. There's quite a big gap ahead of him, so he's not gonna Not going to be able to catch up, I think. But he had a very storied race. A couple of mistakes too many. Which fortunately resulted in driving a little bit in the middle of nowhere. And fixed in P4, it seems. BMW trying to stay as close as possible. Of course, it's fast in a straight line, but this is not the straight line where you want to overtake. Entry to Spoon is not friendly for side-by-side action. What you really want to make it happen is have a good exit out of Spoon. And get on the power well. And at the end of the straight, you should be faster. But I think in this occasion that might not be enough. Gap is a little big. But the gap is coming down, so Alpha's gonna have to be really careful, and the time is ticking for Coop. So 2 or 3 more laps and it's over. Gonna have to make it happen sooner rather than later. Very close behind, looks on the inside, brakes maybe a little later, but it's not enough to stay alongside through turn 1. Perhaps maybe for a better run through here. Do think Alpha was a little bit compromised through there, but not enough for GTM to benefit from it. And as it stands, they're going to continue being in this train for a little longer. GTM Coupe is really trying to push him through the corners, it seems. He's close as possible. This is full position. They are not using team orders, as you can clearly see, otherwise they wouldn't cut it this close. There's no reason to do that otherwise. And but actually, I think they are not even in the same team now, so this actually matters for the little competition that we're having between Fresh SimRacing and the SimZone. Currently, with the SimZone driver in the lead. Controversially, however, given that there was some assistance from Ron, seemingly. I think the stewards will have a look at that and will judge accordingly.
There's an advantage here with GTM Coupe. Remember, he was the last person on the grid to pit with about 45-ish minutes left to go. So he is probably the lightest car on the grid and the most freshest tyres.
It's definitely going to be the freshest tyres.
We've got 2-3 laps to go. That could really be crucial. Depending if you can get a run, but against that really powerful Mercedes.
Yeah, exactly. And I do see he's already a lot closer this lap than he was last lap. So, maybe actually he's going to make it happen in the chicane because they're currently side by side. If it's later on the brakes, but there is some contact, but they keep the car stable. And he's very, very close behind. Goes through the grass to, I think, cut a couple of meters. I don't know what he did there. Might lose him too much speed, but he's so close behind the Mercedes. Going to use the slipstream and the extra speed that he can extract out of the BMW. A bit of weaving from the Mercedes, maybe defending the inside, realizing it's not necessary. Goes back to take the racing line.
Looks like Ron's not done with this the racing result yet either, because he seems to be battling with the race leader at the moment, even though he's essentially a lap down.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the plan is there, battling with race leaders, but yeah, that's as long as he keeps it clean, you know.
But that is letting Matthew catch up on it. There's probably not enough time left yet, unless there's a major incident. There's a second quarter of last lap between these guys fighting.
Yeah, but that will be SV entering the last lap of the race then, with just a minute to go. And the clock will stop at 0 minutes, but after that the race leader still has to finish the lap. And once the race leader has finished the lap, the race will officially be over. It will be relatively soon. We still have battles going on. Normac, I think this is the last lap where he can make it happen. He's very, very close to Fish. He's tailing him very closely. trying to see what the best place is for the move. Maybe waiting for Fish to make a small mistake or a large mistake. Any mistake will do. He is close behind and ready to take advantage of any mistakes. See how close they are through Degner. It always looks a bit risky because if somebody does make a mistake, you don't really have time to react.
I think we're on the final lap. The leader's only gone through the Degner, so yeah, this should be the final lap the guys are on now. This is race to the flag.
Yes, absolutely. So this really matters for everyone that is currently behind the race leader on the lap as the clock hits 0. If you are not the race leader, but you do cross the finish line now, your race is not over yet. You still have to drive one more lap, and that will be your last lap. But we do have SVW013, the driver from the Netherlands, number 36 Mercedes, going through 130R now. It's been a difficult race for I think the entire top 5, or top 4 right now. As Ron has dropped back, but SV has come out on top for now. The students will have a look at what happened earlier, but nothing on SVW. He has won the race, and as far as I'm concerned, he hasn't done anything wrong to get it himself. And it's a deserved position, and equally Matthew, having had a stellar race, having proven himself maybe the fastest man on track. Unfortunate to finish P2 after what happened, but Kingy, after a couple of difficult moments themselves, maybe a bit fortunate.
P7 on the final corners as well, so post-race penalties by the 80 seconds, I think it will be.
Oh, that is very unfortunate for Wayne to lose that time, but he may not lose a position from that. I'm not sure how that works out with laps. I don't think he does.
GTM Coupe managed to pip Alpha into the final chicane as well, so GTM Coupe made it to 5th, but Wayne is going to be dropping down. Ron didn't finish. Did he finish? Yeah, he finished the lap down.
Alright, then GTM Coupe still ahead of Alpha then. Overtaking him in the last battle of the race essentially, and barred up top 4, probably best of the rest there. Excellent job from GTM Coupe, and well done. Alpha Racing, of course, fought hard for that position. Unfortunately lost out, but well done for him anyway. Good job to finish P6, and then behind we have Wayne.
Yeah, it's quite lucky actually that Ron is a lap down, so Wayne shouldn't lose any position. Should be able to hold on to that P7. Yeah,
he doesn't lose any positions. He just looks comically far behind on time on the finishing sheet if he had at the time. But should still be P7. I think that's quite deserved. He's done a decent job as well. And the last driver to finish will be Jinx, who has been jinxed quite hard this race to finish last. Hasn't done as poorly as the result suggests, and comes home in P17. Unfortunately, we did lose 3 drivers today. It's been Bubbles, Didi, and Hoardo.
Should we have a quick look at the vote for driver of the day?
Absolutely.
Let's bring it up now. And oh, hold on, that is the wrong link, I believe. Give me 2 seconds. Right, so we've got Matthew with 4 votes. I think that's definitely deserved. The new Euphoric State with 3 votes. Ron also with 3 votes. Kingy with 3 votes. Gizmo with 3 votes. Kenny with 2. SVW with 2. Bubbles with 2. GTM Coupe with 2. Wayne with 2. Sam with 2. Normac with 1. And Howdo with 1. And I believe that was those top votes. And we had 33 votes in total.
All right, that's nice to see so many people participate and vote, and congrats to Matthew also for winning the driver of the day there. I think entirely deserved. Of course, he was leading and looking for a win until the accident happened. Still had to fight for it, I think, with our eventual winner SV. But good job for him, regardless. Are we looking at doing interviews in a moment?
We can do, yes. Let's see who we can bring in.
Just confirm the driver who was in the investigation.
That is... I believe we will reinstate first place to Matthew, and then SVW will get second after that. That's a no-brainer, I think. See who can get into the comms box.
I do believe SVW himself. I don't think he was involved in any incidents.
No, he wasn't.
No. Bit unfortunate for him to lose it like that then, but I think it's the fairest thing, especially considering the teams that we're having. Of course, SVW being on the same team as Ron, who seemed to cause the incident, will be for a matter for the stewards to decide after the race. So trying to get some drivers.
Here we go. I believe we've got SVW into the room. Let me just move him to the commentator booth. Here we go. We have SVW.
Hello, welcome SVW, and congratulations.
I don't think we can hear him yet.
His microphone, I don't think is working.
Right, we'll bring in Kingy for now.
Yes.
Here we go. We've got Kingy into the room now.
Hello, Kingy?
I don't think. Nope.
No.
Nope.
My microphones are not working.
Should try and
At
bring...
least the wheels were working, so that's good.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Hello? Are
Kingy?
you here? Can you hear us? Give us a sign. I don't think we'll be hearing anything then. No.
Just trying to get hold of Kingy now, so see if we can get him in. He's going to figure it out.
Right, please stand by while we try to fix these technical difficulties.
Let's see if we can bring anyone else in. Let's move them all over to the comms booth.
Let's see if we can hear anyone. If Alpha will like to unmute himself and try to speak.
Yeah.
There we go.
Ah, we've got a working microphone. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
How was that race for you?
Yeah, the quali was extremely horrible. In the last lap, I have 1.5 seconds delta, and then I come out in 130R and invalid this lap. So I started P16. The start was very tricky because first of the night and then the cold temperatures. I started on the outside, gained some positions through late braking. The first stint was really okay. The last 5 minutes I had contact with a lapping car, with a BMW. I lost there 20 seconds. The last, I think, 50 minutes I got a huge battle for P6 and P5, I think. The race was good. Some mistakes on the last lap, of course. I threw the 5th place away. But all in all, it was very okay.
It mustn't have felt good to lose the position like that, but it was a good battle there. Surely a lot of fun to be had, especially if it took so long. Are you really disappointed with losing that position, or just happy you had that battle and that you kept it so clean for so long?
Of course, it was a clean battle, and I'm happy that it was this clean. But the disappointment is, it's huge. First, I want to say thank you to the BMW driver. We battled 15 minutes. To lose the position on the last lap, it's
it's unfortunate, but it was nice to see you two battle and keeping it so clean. Unfortunate for the loss of the position, but well done.
Probably one of the best battles we saw today. Best and the cleanest battles we saw, so that's definitely a good thing to take away from today's race.
Yeah, of course.
Let's see, who else can we get? Normac?
Well, we have Norm in, so if you can unmute and try to speak to us.
Yep. Hello.
Hello. You are the second
Hello.
booking microphone for the drivers, so nice to have
great.
you here. How was that
Thanks.
race for you?
It was okay. Just 2 hours is extremely long, but just got through it. Obviously, from the start, starting from the pit lane was a bit naff, but managed to come through and eventually, I think, finished P10. Was it? So I was okay with it. I mean, I've had so many incidents through it. I mean, into that fast left-hander at the end of the circuit, just completely went onto the grass, and my two wheels just lost all sense of direction. Just went straight on into the gravel. So that wasn't great, but yeah, it was okay.
That's very unfortunate, but most probably okay. Then what happened at the start? Then you missed the start we saw, but
Yeah, I was trying to connect my controller to the voice chat, so I could hear if anybody wanted to, me to let them through or anything. So I rushed downstairs to get my charger for it, and when I got back, I was in the pit lane. So it wasn't great, but oh well.
weren't fast enough off track, which hurt you on track in the end. So, yeah, it was nice to see you join the race anyway, and having quite a decent race considering you came from the back. So, thank you for joining us and having an excellent
thanks,
race.
man.
And then here we have the provisional anyway. Winner of the race, SVW. If you can try to unmute yourself. Don't think he's ready for that. Then we'll move on. Oh no!
Oh wait, yeah, we go.
There we go. Hello. You've provisionally won the race so far. How do you feel?
Very tired. This was
Fair
my
enough.
first 2 hour long race, but under control.
That's very good to keep it under control. Yeah, you were charging the pack and I think catching up to Wayne for a little bit, and then at some point he was spun out and you overtook him. What was your reaction to that?
Yeah, well, I didn't receive any penalties on my SA, dus I don't think I hit him, but I'm not sure what happened.
think it was someone else that
yeah,
did that.
someone else. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I think was Ron that had some contact with Wayne, and that Matthew, sorry, and that caused Matthew to spin, we believe. The stewards will have another look at it, but from your end, of course, no issues, but no surprise either.
Well, I didn't expect to win. Not at all.
I think your consistency definitely paid off.
Yeah, I think every lap I raced was around 1 second or separate of each other.
Yeah, and I think you were catching as well before the incident happened, so you were doing quite well, and it paid off with a good result. So congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
All right, and then we'll try to move on to Sam. Sam, can you hear us?
No, I don't think so.
No, okay, that's another one that doesn't work.
Last two, I think we've got Kingy and Matthew that will bring into the room.
Bring Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew.
Yeah, we'll do both of you. King and Matthew, congratulations on a podium. We'll do Matthew first then. Well done on your P2, Matthew. How did it feel for you?
No, I think everyone's. Oh wait, there we go.
Oh, I saw something.
Hey guys,
Hello.
you're talking to me? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, we're talking to you.
Sorry.
Yeah, I asked. You finished P2, and how did it feel for you?
It feel very bad because I should be P1. I just were killed by P10 at 3 laps before the finish of the race, and I hope it's not over because this is very disrespectful that he just spun me like I was P1, he was P10, and he was fighting for the 3 laps with me. I think it's bad.
Yeah, we did see that and did not find that very good either. It was very terrible to see. But up until that point, you've done an amazing race. Bit difficult in the first stint, I think. You made a couple of mistakes after a good start.
Yeah.
After-
I made a few mistakes, but then I just find some comfortable pace and it was good.
Find the rhythm a little bit, and then your pace was quite good, and you did quite well in the end, finishing at P2. But really, you were winner in our hearts, and you've also picked up the driver of the day vote. You've won that,
Oh.
so congratulations.
Thanks. I hope it's not the end, and maybe I'm not gonna be P2. I hope. Let's see, because it's still open.
Yeah, well, we could all see what happened, but the stewards will be deciding that. And thank you for joining us, and hope to see you again.
Yeah, thank you. Very good race. Thank you.
And then finally, we have the finisher in P3, Kingy.
Hello.
There we go.
Hello, your microphone works. Very nice. So you finished P3. Are you happy with that?
Well, yeah, it's good points for the team. A little bit disappointed because I didn't have the pace in the car because I drove the whole 2 hours with damage. So I felt like I could have been quicker, but I'll never know. So, but happy with the result, I suppose.
Yes, maybe not quite what you wanted, but I think considering how far you dropped at the end of the first stint, it's quite good.
Thank you. I decided not to fix the damage in the pits because I knew I'd lose just too much. So I had a couple of incidents. I'm not sure if the stream caught them, but yeah, it was enjoyable. I appreciate the guys putting on the race. I hope we can do it again sometime soon. I'm not sure what the overall result is. Has anybody spoken about that yet?
No, we're gonna have to have a look at any inquiries first.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing certain yet.
But I think Fresh have it in the bag, I believe. But yeah, congrats to everyone for finishing. That's the main main point of this event.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks very much.
The main point, of course, is good racing, great fun, and a little bit of friendly competition. And as long as that doesn't end in tears, then we're all happy. Of course, not entirely today, but Kingy, I think you had a quite a solid race and a quite clean race, despite some small incidents in the first stint. And it was very nice to see you race, and we hope to see more of you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thanks everyone for watching the stream today. Of course, brought to you by TheOnlyGx for the SimZone. We got Nathbit joining us, representing Fresh Sim Racing, and then myself just doing commentary for you. Thanks a lot, and we hope to see you guys again sometime